Welcome to this very important session on logical reasoning and data interpretation, shorthanded as LRDI. Now, in this session, I'm going to discuss on how to prepare in the best possible way for LRDI. I see a lot of students who are absolutely clueless, who have no idea about this section. They don't know how to start with this section. They do not know how to progress in this section. So hopefully by the end of the video, I will give you some clarity on how to go about this section in the best possible way. Now, before we get into the breakup of LRDI, let's try to understand which all skills are tested via this section. First and foremost, it's a test of your logical ability. Secondly, it's a test of concentrated reading. And thirdly, it's a test of your simplification skills. See, many topics of LRDI will expect you to be very active logically. So your logical ability will be tested there. Now, as far as concentrated reading and simplification is concerned, it will be primarily tested in your complicated sets, which usually come up in your CAT paper. So when you are solving a complicated set, more often than none, it will be filled with a lot of conditions. So the first step is the reading step. You need to read very effectively there. Once you read through those conditions, the next step is you try to simplify those conditions. You try to simplify complex conditions. After you simplify, the next step is inferencing. You make necessary inferences. And after you make necessary inferences, you try to connect the dots. And once you connect the dots, once you have made all the possible inferences, you have connected all the possible points, then you move to questions and you try to solve the questions. So this is a complete process that you need to follow while solving a difficult LRDI set. So in a way, you should understand it's a test of concentrated reading as well as a test of simplification skills. Now, many a times, some sets requires you to be a smart problem solver, wherein your focus has to be more on the end result. See, sometimes the how is not very important. The what part becomes more important. See, sets can be made out of any situation. For example, even this conversation that we are having via this session, this can be converted into an LRDI set. A teacher is interacting with n number of students. Out of those n number of students, some are focusing on the session, some are not focusing on the session. Out of those who are focusing on the session, some will end up scoring 99 plus in the exam. Some will not be able to score 99 plus in the exam, and so on and so forth. We can build a story around this and make an LRDI set out of it. Okay. So for a random set based on a random situation like this, you cannot have a process. Your past learnings cannot help you to solve this set properly. So in those situations, in these kind of sets, the end result is more important. So maybe once you have read through the conditions of the question, if you're not getting anything, you'll try to take some help from the options. You'll try to take help from the other questions. For example, let's say you're solving question number 1. If you're not getting any clue, before giving up on question number 1, you'll go through question number 2, question number 3, question number 4. Maybe something is present there. So you have to be on a lookout for all these clues. Okay. That's the reason I've mentioned here, the end result is more important. So you should try to get to the answer by hook or by crook. And that requires smart problem solving skills. Okay. Now, having said that you need to be a smart problem solver, it does not mean that you need to be a smart problem solver for all the sets. See, there are certain typical sets which require you to be very methodical. For example, an LRDI set based on set theory. If you do not know the set theory concepts, you won't be able to go through the set. So some sets expect you to be very methodical and some require you to be street smart. And you need to find that balance between these two skills, being methodical and being street smart. Also, in future, when you move forward in your preparation, right judgment will become very, very important. See, at the beginning, this judgment part is not very important because right now you have not reached a certain level of maturity. But once you reach a certain level of maturity, this also should become a part of your process. You should work on your judgment skills as well. How to work on that, when to work on that, we'll understand this in the course of the discussion. Now, students also fail to understand the difference between CAT LRDI and non-CAT LRDI. Non-CAT, I'm calling it OMET. OMET stands for Other Management Entrance Tests. See, one needs to understand there's a clear-cut distinction between CAT LRDI and OMET LRDI. For CAT LRDI, the scope and the syllabus is undefined. Anything and everything can be converted into an LRDI set and it can come up in your paper. But for OMET LRDI, most of the topics have defined scope. So the syllabus is kind of well defined. So it's easier to prepare for. And also I believe that someone who is preparing for CAT LRDI should also prepare for OMET LRDI, because this OMET LRDI kind of becomes the foundation for CAT LRDI preparation. If you straight away jump to CAT LRDI preparation, given you are a first timer, you're taking these exams for the first time, it's not the right thing to do. You will be lost. So I'll strongly recommend that you first realize the difference between these two preparations, and then you do it step by step. First, you take care of your OMET LRDI preparation needs, and then you take care of your CAT LRDI preparation needs. So take it this way. Your OMET LRDI preparation is kind of first gear and second gear, and CAT LRDI is third gear and fourth gear. You cannot go to third gear and fourth gear before going through first gear and second gear. So take it this way. I hope all these points are making perfect sense to you. Okay. Now let's get to the breakup of LRDI. Now this is my breakup. This is what I roll out to my students. For me, LRDI is broken into these 5 segments, these 5 blocks. The first block is the LR block, which is your traditional LR block. In this, I have listed all the traditional logical reasoning topics, starting with logical series, decryption, which is popularly called as coding decoding. Then we have logical input output, instructional logic, conditional and deductive logic, rank logic, symbol based logic, distance logic, visual logic, family tree or blood relations, directions based logics, logical inequalities, selection criteria, puzzles, calendars, clocks, right? So all these topics come under the horizon of traditional logical reasoning. Now these topics are very important. Number one, they are important from the standpoint of all the non-CAT exams, right? And number two, they turn out to be the right stepping stone for your major CAT LRDI preparation. So for example, topics such as logical series, decryption, logical input output, they tremendously help you on logic identification. They make you very good at it. Topics such as conditional logic and deductive logic, they make you good at inferencing. They make you good at deducing. And all these skills are tested in your CAT LRDI preparation. Likewise, all these other topics, they have some charm associated with it, and you need to exploit it. So this is your traditional LR preparation. So call it the first gear or the second gear, but you have to do it. Second, we have your standard data interpretation. Your data interpretation preparation should always start with arithmetic. Without arithmetic, there is no data interpretation. You cannot move even an inch in data interpretation if you do not know ratios, averages, and percentages. So one needs to have a very strong command over arithmetic fundamentals. So that's the first reason why you should, start off data interpretation with arithmetic. There's one more reason. Nowadays, a lot of sets are created on quant templates. If you see, I've written it here, quant based DI. For example, a time speed distance situation can be converted into a DI set. A partnership situation can be converted into a DI set. Profit and loss can be converted into a DI set. Mixtures and allegations can be converted into a DI set. My point is, if you're not comfortable with arithmetic, it will become very difficult to progress in those sets. So arithmetic becomes a prerequisite for data interpretation. Then you should understand all the DI jargons. You should know all the DI fundamentals. There are a lot of fundamentals that need to be discussed before moving on to set. You need to cover all those fundamentals. You should have knowledge of all data diagrams. See, every data diagram, I think except for table, has some weakness associated with it. And one should be able to extract that weakness and exploit it. So one should be aware of all the data diagrams and their nuances. I've spoken about quant-based DI. Then you should collect all possible techniques, all possible weapons which are needed to solve data interpretation effectively. Very often you will find many data interpretation sets based on a simple template. So that template needs to be mastered. So there are many templates and structures in data interpretation one needs to cover so that one can become fast at it. So this is your traditional DI preparation. In my opinion, this is the traditional DI preparation. Now, once you cover your traditional LR and traditional DI, you have mastered the first gear and second gear. Now it's turn to graduate to third gear and fourth gear. So the third block is basically your CAT LRDI preparation. If you see, I've written LRDI together. There is no distinction between LR and DI here. Okay, so both are together. LRDI. It's one segment. LRDI. So first of all, in CAT LRDI, you should understand that we are going to break our preparation into 2 categories. The first category is basically from here to here. These are templates or themes. So first of all, you need to master these templates, master these themes. Set theory, optimization, game scoreboards and tournaments, cuboidal logic, critical path. Because in these topics, you can be methodical. So first of all, understand all the methods, understand these topics in depth, cover all these templates. If you find any other template, add it to the list and cover it up. So first part of your CAT LRDA preparation is kind of defined. It's your template learning. Once you're done with template learning, then you can move to set-based learning, which I call the experience-based learning. So this learning is based on experience. Now here the scope of preparation is infinite. You can practice infinite number of sets. But do we need to practice infinite number of sets? No. How many sets should we be practicing? I'll come to that in some point. Okay. So here, if you see the first point which I've written is exam scan, basically taking care of all past year sets, past paper sets, because they turn out to be the blueprint sets for you. One has to cover them. It becomes mandatory for you to cover past paper sets. You cannot ignore them. So before going through any LRDI sets prepared by any coaching institute, one should be sensible enough to cover all the past paper sets. So that's what exam scan. And then there's something called as chosen ones. What is this term? Why have I used this term here? We'll understand that in the next few slides. I hope this CAT LRDI block is clear to you. First part, template learning. Second part, experience-based learning. Now coming to the fourth part. Now fourth part is optional, but I make it mandatory for my students. So if I'm making it mandatory for my students, I find it very important. Please understand, I find it very, very important. Okay. So this is what I call bent of mind. I sincerely believe someone who has the right bent of mind will do really well in CAT LRDI section, where all these sets are going to be brand new for you. So whether you have practiced 500 sets before, or you have practiced 1000 sets before, or you have practiced 50 sets before, the quantity really doesn't matter. It does matter a bit, because you can't go to exam hall by practicing just 20 sets. That's not a good number to target. So some quantity does matters, but what is more important is the quality of sets, the variety in those sets. Okay. So apart from that, if you really want to make sure that you're trained for thinking in the right way in the examination hall, you should have the right bent of mind. And to get this right bent of mind, I will expect you to participate in certain activities. All these activities will constitute the logic gym. Like you work out in a gym, similarly, you have to do a mental workout in this logic gym. And the more important aspect of this logic gym is periodicity. Okay. Whether you do it less or more, that's a different story altogether, but one has to be consistent with it. That's more important to this logic gym. So what do we do in this logic gym? We prepare the exercise, we participate in tasks, we participate in activities. So the activities or exercises which I feel are important to logic gym, they are these: binary logic, logical games. You can play some logical games, something called as measurement logic. You can try out Sudoku, other forms of numeric puzzles such as Kakuro, Hitori, Kalkudoku. There's so many more. Just Google out Japanese numerical puzzles. You'll find dozens of numerical puzzles. Slitherlink is there, Nurikabe is there. There's so many different kinds of puzzles. Okay. But the ones which I have listed, I feel they are very much in connection with what is going to come in CAT. So these are more important to you. Then you can practice standard puzzles. You'll find these puzzles either in George Summers, or you can practice it from the Shakuntala Devi book. So these are two very good sources of getting standard puzzles. I'll repeat them for you: George Summers, and then you have Shakuntala Devi. You can practice brain teasers. There are so many applications online where you can practice brain teasers. You can do that. That's a mental workout that you can give to yourself. Now, there are certain skills which I want you to have, and I want you to have via this logic gym. Those skills are recursion, understanding recursion as a tool, performing reverse engineering, going backwards to solve a question, that's called reverse engineering, and knowledge of special patterns. There are some logical patterns, there are some numerical patterns. One should be aware of all those things, because you never know when they can be helpful in solving a particular scenario or a question. So all these activities, all these exercises, all these points which I've written under this logic gym, they form my logic gym activity base. Okay. So how to go about this logic gym, I'll discuss in, I guess, the next to next slide, you'll get a clear-cut idea how to go about this logic gym. But here in this slide, I've answered what to do in logic gym, as in which topics to practice or what to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, as a part of this logic gym. So solving Sudokus, Kakuros, Hitoris, standard puzzles, brain teasers, playing logical games, all this forms a part of your logic gym. Okay. And this will help you to develop the right bent of mind. I hope you get it. Okay. Now the fifth block is your miscellaneous topics. I've written here other topics. This OT stands for other topics. Here we have included some critical reasoning topics which form a part of logical reasoning. See, there are some critical reasoning topics which are more resonated with verbal ability part of your preparation. And there are some critical reasoning topics which are more resonated with logical reasoning part of your section. So those critical reasoning topics which are more in sync with logical reasoning, I've kept it here. Then there's something called as matrix reasoning, which is typically tested only in NMAT. And there is this abstract logic, which is tested in Maharashtra MBA CET. So this slide that you can see can turn out to be the syllabus for you. I know that I've told you that the scope and the syllabus of CAT LRDA preparation is undefined. Still, I'm giving you a list of topics to prepare, because when you're preparing, you need a defined sample space. And this slide gives you that sample space. I hope you realize it. Okay. Now, let me tell you one more thing before I move to the other slide. Let's say you're preparing for non-CAT exams. Then your block 1, block 2, some selected topics of block 3, and block 5. These blocks become very important for non-CAT exams. Now, if you're preparing for CAT exam, then all these blocks become important. Maybe you can ignore these critical reasoning topics. Apart from that, all these blocks become important. You can also exclude abstract logic because it's only tested in MBA CET. But this matrix reasoning can very well help you to solve some CAT LRDA kind of questions. So I will not ignore it. So all the topics that you can see within all these blocks, 5 blocks, they become very, very important for your CAT LRDA preparation if you want to do it the right way. I hope we are clear with it. Now, this is the time allocation matrix. Basically, this matrix will tell you the time to be spent on every block, the right amount of time, the ideal time. For traditional logic, your preparation time should be 30 years. Coverage time means preparation time. And along with preparation time, if you add on some exercise time or practice time, that will give you engagement time. So this coverage time is automatically included in this engagement time. For example, for traditional logic, I've given an engagement time of 50 hours. So 50 hours is good enough to prepare for traditional logic, practice traditional logic, make notes on traditional logic, revise traditional logic. So 50 hours is the total engagement time which I'm expecting out of you. For data interpretation, you can see the numbers. 25 hours is the engagement time and 10 hours is the coverage time. So if you see, for practice, we have kept additional 15 hours apart from preparation. So in these 15 hours, you can try out 30 to 40 sets easily. Coming to CAT LRDA template learning, you know the list of topics under template learning, right? So I think this can be wrapped up in 20 years if you do it wisely, if you do it from a good source who knows how to present maximum information in minimum time in the most convenient manner. So I've kept engagement time of 25 hours. Then coming to CAT LRDA set-based learning, if you see, the engagement time is kept as 75 hours. So apart from solving sets, you'll also be making notes. You'll also be making flowcharts. You'll also be making observations, and all this takes time. So that's the reason there's this additional 15 hours which are kept apart from solving sets. So solving sets should take around 60 hours and additional time should take around 15 hours. So again, in these 60 hours, assuming you will take around 20 to 30 minutes per set, you can solve 120 to 180 sets. Mind you, this does not include your mock tests. This time allocation matrix only includes your pre-mock test time, as in your preparation, your self-evaluation pre a mock test, then practicing, improvising, revising, all that is included in this time allocation matrix. But mind that your mock test time is not included here. Okay. For complete clarity on this time distribution, you can watch my other video. You'll find that in our YouTube channel. The video goes by how much time should be spent on every section. Basically, how much time to be spent on CAT preparation. That's the name of the video. You should check it out. You'll get some clarity on it. Now coming to Logic Gym. Logic Gym in totality will take 30 years. What is the breakup of these 30 years? I'll tell you in the next slide. So 30 years is needed for Logic Gym. And puzzles. I've written OMET puzzles here, but puzzles as a topic is a standalone topic. It does not need to be called as OMET puzzles. It can very well be tested in your CAT exam also. So let's not call it OMET puzzle. Let's call it puzzles only, logical puzzles. So I think 20 hours is good enough for coverage and 25 hours for engagement. I think in this time you can easily solve 50 to 60 sets of puzzles. So in totality, your coverage time is 170 hours and your engagement time is 230 hours. So 230 hours is all which I need out of you to prepare this section in the best possible way. And trust me, if you can utilize these 230 hours with efficiency, nobody can stop you because you have done everything that an ideal student should be doing. Okay. Now, before getting on to the logic gym part, or let me do one thing. Let me convey you the logic gym first, and then we'll come back to this. Okay. So I told you that logic gym, a total of 30 hours should be spent, right? So this is the breakup of it. I've already communicated what should you be doing in this logic gym. As in, you know, the topics to be practiced under logic gym. Maybe one day you will solve a Sudoku, other day you'll solve a Kakuro, then you'll solve a Calcudoku, then probably you'll take up some logical games. The next day, probably you'll solve some brain teasers. So all these activities form a part of your logic gym. You decide which activity you want to get into, but it is my strong recommendation that you try out all the activities. Try to bring in some variance in your activities. Do not do the same activity over and over again. Okay. So I have broken the 30 hours into 5 phases. For the first 30 days, I want you to practice for 15 minutes every day. This is to get the habit. In totality, you will consume around 7.5 hours. Now, after you cross this hurdle, after you cross the first month's hurdle, after you have gotten into a habit, then I want you to do logic gym once in 3 days. So in the next month, if you do it once in 3 days, you'll be doing it for 10 days. Once in 3 days, 10 days in 30 days, right? You get it? But this time, you'll increase your daily time. Your daily time has to be increased to 30 minutes every day. So here I want you to build some stamina. Working out for 30 minutes every day has to be practiced here. So in total, if you do 30 minutes for every day for 10 days, it will be 5 hours in total. So that's your second phase. Third phase, I want you to do it once every week. And when you do it once every week, obviously the workout time has to go up. It has to be a heavy workout. So I want you to practice logic gym for 1 hour every day, once every week. So basically in a month, assuming it has 4 weeks, you'll be doing it for 4 days. So in totality, you'll consume 4 hours here. After this, as you move closer to the exam, I want you to follow point number 4 and point number 5. So after you're done with the first 3 checkpoints, again, I want you to get into the habit of doing it daily. So for next 30 days, you'll do it 20 minutes every day, which will account for a total of 10 hours. Now, once you're done with the first 4 checkpoints, the last checkpoint, which will be very close to your exam, I want you to go away from this logic gym a bit. So I want you to reduce your time and frequency. So here, if you see, we are doing it only for 15 days and that too for 15 minutes every day. So that we are in touch with logic gym, but we are not heavily doing it because we might have to do other topics as well just before the exam. So this will account for a total of 3.7 hours, 5 hours. So in total, if you add all these numbers up, it will be very, very close to 30 hours. So this is the plan which I recommend to my students for this 30 hours of logic gym. I want you to distribute 30 hours like this. Don't do 30 hours in just 2 days. That won't be wise. Please understand, okay? We want to do it periodically. That's more important. अब सोचो ना, जब आप जिम करते हो, आपको बहुत जोश आया, आपने 2 दिन 10-10 घंटे जिम कर दिया, फिर आपने 1 महीना जिम नहीं किया. Will it help you? No, right? So the same principle gets applied here. I hope you get that part. So now since we are sorted with this logic gym, I have answered how to spend those 30 years in these 5 checkpointed ways, right? You will do one after the other. I've also told you which topics to do under logic gym. We'll talk a bit more about it in some time, but let me cover the essentials first. So we have understood logic gym. Now let me talk about the process. So first of all, you need to take care of your fundamentals. Now, what is fundamentals for me? Fundamentals for me is number 1, OMET LRDI preparation. So all the topics under traditional LR, traditional DI, they form the OMET LRDI model for me. So you need to get rid of this model as soon as possible, as in cover all the topics under this model. Now, arithmetic, as I've told you, is needed for data interpretation. So arithmetic also form a part of your fundamentals. So once you cover these 2 blocks, you have taken care of your fundamentals. Now you have cleared the eligibility criteria for the next step, which is the bent of mind. Now to get the right bent of mind, you will do logic gym. That is for sure. In fact, you can start doing logic gym from tomorrow. You can do logic gym parallel to build up of your fundamentals. So while you are processing OMET LRDI in arithmetic fundamentals, you can still do logic gym parallel to it. There's no problem in it. Okay. But once you are done with OMET LRDI and arithmetic fundamentals, please cover templates first. CAT LRDI based templates have to be done first, so that if a set comes in your way, which is based on a template, you know how to solve it. So templates as well as logic gym will give you the right bent of mind. Will give you the right progression. Okay. So first we take care of fundamentals, then we take care of bent of mind. Now we have achieved a certain level of maturity, because while solving OMET LRDI topics, our logic identification has improved, our deduction process has improved. We have solved a lot of puzzles there. We have solved a lot of DI sets there. We have covered arithmetic topics there. After that, we have worked on a bent of mind. We are doing logic gym as per the plan. We have covered CAT LRDI templates, so we have that knowledge as well. So now our maturity level is on a different note, and now we are ready to learn from our experiences, because now we are mature, right? Now we are wise. Now we can start learning from our experiences. For that, obviously you'll have to solve sets. What should be your process while solving a set? I'll come to that in some time. It's a part of our discussion. But under experiential learning, I've kept two categories here: M sets and LRDI 101. Now, what is this? I'll explain in a forthcoming slide. But I hope the process is clear. First, we take care of fundamentals, then we take care of bent of mind, achieve a certain level of maturity, then we go to set-based learning. So this is going to be a process. So I hope this answers the question, what to do first, what to do later. I hope we are absolutely okay with it. Now coming to set-based learning, once we reach the process where we start learning from our sets, we also need to know which sets are we going to learn from. That's also very important, right? So first of all, I want you to kickstart with M sets. This M of M sets, it stands for mandatory sets. As the name suggests, these sets are mandatory. They're absolutely critical. Okay. So under these M sets, I have got two categories. Super M sets, that is super mandatory sets, absolutely important. Okay. They are prerequisites. You have to do it. And then we have other mandatory sets. Now, which are these super mandatory sets? Let me tell you. CAT 19, CAT 18, CAT 17, CAT 16. CAT 19, all 16 sets. CAT 18, all 16 sets. CAT 17, all 16 sets. CAT 16, 6 sets. So if you add all these numbers, what will you get? 3 times 16 is 48, 48 plus 6, 54 sets. So these 54 sets, they are your blueprint sets. They become your super mandatory sets. If you are ever confused, if you ever want to know what kind of sets can come up in your CAT 20 paper, you should go back and you should look at CAT 19, CAT 18, CAT 17, CAT 16, and you should realize that the mixture of all these will turn out to be CAT 20. You can take my word on that. Okay. Now, once you start solving these sets, super mandatory sets, you'll also understand some subtle patterns. So if you look at CAT 17, CAT 18, CAT 19, you'll start comparing the two slots. Every slot has eight sets, and there are two slots, and that results in 16 sets. So you'll understand the comparison between the two slots. Okay, every slot has a set theory based set. Every slot has a counting based set. You'll start making these subtle observations, which are there, and I want you to find them. I want you to extract them. Okay, so these are your super mandatory sets. And after this, mandatory sets. What are mandatory sets? CAT 2008 to CAT 2000 in this order. Okay, you'll first start off at CAT 2008 and then you'll move backwards to CAT 2000. In these papers, you'll find at least 60 sets. So if you add 54 and 60, you'll have at least 114 mandatory sets. कुछ भी करने से पहले इन sets को पहले देखो, because these are the sets created by paper setters of CAT. So you need to get familiarized with these sets first. Hope you get it right. Now, after you're done with these mandatory sets, then you will start with LRDI X1 sets. Now, what does this mean? Let me explain. So these sets are basically the chosen ones. I have written 101 here. So basically here my X stands for 100. So 100 plus 1, 101, right? You can go for LRDI 71 sets, LRDI 31 sets, LRDI 81 sets, LRDI 51 sets. जो भी number आपको पसंद हो, आप use कर लो, ठीक है? The target which I've set for myself is 101 this year, okay? So my point is, after going through mandatory sets, after going through all the previous steps in our process, going through fundamentals, getting the bent of mind, going through CAT-based templates, after we have achieved all this, now we are trained, okay? Now what we'll do is, we'll do some random solving. And for that random solving, we'll choose some sets. So these sets are chosen ones, okay? See, there's a difference between these two terms, the chosen ones and the forced ones. For example, let me explain. Let's say I give a mock test. I assign a mock test to you, okay? And you're supposed to take that mock test. In that mock test, there are, let's say, 8 sets. Are those 8 sets chosen by you? No, right? They are forced on you. I'm forcing you to solve those sets. So these sets belong to the category of forced ones, okay? So we are discussing the chosen categories, the chosen sets, the chosen ones, right? So I want you to pick up a repository of LRDI sets, a collection of LRDI sets, and out of that repository, pick up some number of sets, 51, 81, 31, 71, 101. Choose any number you want to. Okay, this X can be replaced with any number you wish to, but don't let it be a very small number. Let it not be LRDI 11 sets. That is not a good number to go for, right? So anything over and above 31, 41, I'm okay with it. Okay. If you can manage 101 sets, I'm absolutely happy with it. I'll be very happy with it. Okay. So these are your chosen ones. So you need to pick up a LRDI repository where you find a lot of sets, and from that repository, start solving this LRDI series. You call it 101, you call it 61, you call it 51, that is on you. But these chosen ones have to be started after you're done with your mandatory sets. So for example, in our course, we have got a repository of 350 plus sets of varied difficulty level. And I would expect my students to pick up their chosen ones out of this repository. Okay, so you have to find a very good repository which has a lot of variance to it, and from that repository pick some number of sets and try solving them on your own. That's very, very important. Okay, I'll anyways tell you the right process while solving a set, but for now I'm telling you the blueprint. I'm giving you the anatomy of everything. First of all, you go through this mandatory sets, then you work on LRDI 101 or LRDI X1. You call them the chosen ones. Then once you're done with all this, I'm assuming you will take at least 20 mocks. I'm assuming one mock will have at least 8 sets. So 20 mocks into 8 will give you 160 sets. So via mocks also, you will be solving 160 sets, and these are your forced sets, right? So after you're done with mandatory and the chosen ones, then you take your mocks, right? And then you're forced to solve those sets. And if you add all these numbers, 114, 101, 360, you'll end up solving 375 sets, which is an incredible number to prepare. If you can manage these 375 sets properly, even if you manage 250 to 300 sets properly, including all of this, you're on the right track of scoring a 99 plus percentile in this section. Let me tell you that. It's very important to revise all these sets. As I've told you, the quality matters. And to maintain the quality, you need to revisit it. Whenever you solve a set, you need to have proper revision in place. You cannot just solve a set and forget it. See, let me tell you one thing very clearly, and most of the students who have prepared for LRDI before will agree with me. A set that I have been able to solve today, it is not guarantee that I'll be able to solve the same set, let's say 15 days later. It's not a guarantee. Please understand. More often than not, there is no structured process in terms of solving random sets. So one has to do a lot of other things apart from just solving, and what to do there, I'll explain. Okay. Now let's understand the workflow for tackling mandatory sets. This workflow will tell you how to go about solving mandatory sets. So I hope by now you understand what are mandatory sets, right? So the first step is the identity step. In this identity step, you basically identify and initiate. Initiate as in you need to solve the set on your own. See, when you start solving sets, you need to get into this habit of trying the set on your own. Don't be that person who just tries the set once and looks out for solutions. That's not the right way to start building up your process. So you need to initiate properly first. This is your I step. Call it the identity step or initiate step. Call it whatever you want. Okay. Try to solve anyhow. This is more important. Do not give up on the set. Okay. Now, after this step, once you try to solve it, there can be two possibilities. Either you are able to succeed, either you get success or you don't get success. That is, you're able to solve the set or you're not able to solve the set. If you're able to solve the set, make a stepwise flow chart. Do not satisfy yourself just with the solution of the set. I agree that you have solved the set. Okay. But after solving the set, I want you to make a stepwise flow chart. Write properly. Okay. This was the first condition which I tackled. From this condition, I went to this condition. From that condition, I went to that condition. Make a stepwise flow chart. If you got stuck at any point and if you're able to overcome that point, write that in your flow chart. Your flow chart should be made in such a way that after 10-20 days, if you come back to this set, if you look at this flow chart, you should be able to solve the set. Basically, this flow chart will turn out to be a very good revision tool for you later on, because it becomes very difficult to resolve a set while doing revision. It will take a lot of time. You can try imagining yourself, right? A set takes 15-20 minutes. And specifically when you're preparing, so mandatory sets is your first checkpoint in your set-based learning, right? So I'll call it preparation only. So while you're doing that, you will take much more time compared to when you are solving the forced ones. So you cannot take double the time, once for preparation and once for revision. So to enable faster revision, you need to make this flow chart. I hope you get some feel of things, okay, how to make the flow chart. So write down your steps. How did you approach it? Okay. Next, if you're not able to solve the set, if not solved, then just look at the answer key. Do not go to the explanation. Just look at the answer key and take the help of the answer key. Try whatever you want to try. Take the help of the question constraints. Take the additional help of the answer key and then try to solve the question. This is what I call reverse engineering. Moving from answer to the question. If you are not able to solve the question, let's take the help of the answer. And let's see whether that answer can help us to figure out the process or not. That's called reverse operation. So try to do that. If after performing reverse operation, if you're still not able to solve the set, then look at the explanation. This is the right time to look at the explanation. Okay. Now, after looking at the explanation, there are two possibilities. Either you have understood the explanation or you have not understood the explanation. If you have understood the explanation, then resolve the set. And this time make some observational notes. As in, what is present in that explanation that you could not do while solving for the first time? Make your observational notes. List your errors that you have committed the first time, right? So after making these observational notes, you'll revise it also later, okay? Now, there is another possibility that even after looking at the explanation, you could not figure out what is there. You haven't understood anything about the set. Now, this is the time you can say that you're clueless and you will tag this set as a doubt. And this is the right time to take help and you should present your doubt then. And this is a right doubt. This is not a doubt that you have just tagged it for the sake of it. This is a legit doubt, because before tagging it as a doubt, you have done everything that you're supposed to do with a set. You have tried solving it on your own, did not work out. You took the help of the answer, did not work out. You tried reverse engineering, did not work out. You tried explanation, did not work out. You did all of those things. right? You did not give up on the set. So after doing all of this, then only you will tag it as a doubt. And make sure that while doing all of this, you choose only those sets which come up with answer keys and explanation, because that will bring in a lot of efficiency in your process. If you're solving a mandatory set without an answer key and explanation, and let's say you don't solve a particular set, you get stuck on it, what will you do? Will you wait for someone else to come and solve for you? No, right? You should have ready access to answer keys and solutions. So maintain efficiency in this entire process. So this is what I want you to follow in mandatory sets. Now mind that while solving mandatory sets, I do not expect you to keep a time limit on the questions that you solve. You have to do it in an exercise mode. So at the very beginning, you will take more time. Probably you will take 30 minutes for a set, which is absolutely fine. As slowly you will progress, your time will also reduce gradually. Okay, so do not worry about that part. So this is the workflow for tackling mandatory sets. Now, after you're done with mandatory sets, once you start solving the chosen ones, I'm calling it the LRDI 101 sets, your process will almost stay the same. There will be a couple of differences. Let me tell you that. So the first step, now I'm calling it the I plus J step. I step you already know, right? The initiation step. J step, this is where you start to work on judgments. So before you solve a set, you look at a set, right? So while you have that superficial glance over that set, I want you to make some judgment calls. So before you actually start solving, I want you to make some judgment calls. Some examples of judgment calls. Number one, I'll try to guess whether I can solve the set or not. That's called a superficial judgment. Just by looking at the set, make a guess. हाँ, मुझसे बनेगा या नहीं बनेगा. And write it on a piece of paper. Write that judgment down. Can I solve the set? Yes or no? Okay. Second, try to comment on the time that you think will be needed to crack the set. So let's say, in my opinion, after looking at the set, I've seen the number of parameters, I've seen the length of the set, I've understood the first few lines. I made a comment that, okay, I can solve this set in around, let's keep an upper limit, lower limit at the start, okay? Because we are working on our judgments. So let's say I'll keep 12 to 14 minutes. This is my judgment. Now I've made 2 judgment calls on this set, okay? Now I'll try to solve the set. After doing all of the solving part, let's say the set has been solved. And after that, if I realize that I've solved the set in 20 minutes, which means my judgment has gone wrong. My judgment has gone wrong by 6 minutes. So this is called taking judgment call. So my first judgment came right, that I was able to solve the set, but my second judgment came wrong. That is the time needed to crack the set. So do this for every set belonging to LRDI 101 series. That way, slowly but steadily, your judgment will improve. Apart from your goal as getting the right answer, make an additional goal of getting your judgments right. Because even if I get my answer wrong, if I get my judgments right, I'll get some happiness out of it. I hope you're getting it. Let's say I try to solve a set and मैंने judgment लिया कि मुझसे set बनेगा, ठीक है? And मैंने time बोला कि let's say ये set मुझसे बनेगा 20 मिनट में. So I've kept a very high number for this, right? 20 minutes. It should be a difficult set according to me. And let's say I solve the set and I realize that the set got solved in 21 minutes. So if you see, I'm very close to my judgment. I was able to take the right judgment for me. So please understand, the judgment which is right for you may not be right for someone else for the same set. What we want is we want to improve our own judgment. We do not want to work on the general judgment. Okay, that's why this initiative has to be taken by you yourself, and no one else can guide you on that. So you should start taking judgment calls while tackling LRDI 101 sets. Now here I want you to work with time limits. So basically, as per your judgment, whatever you have judged on the time duration, that becomes your time limit. Okay, so let's say I feel that this set should have been solved in 10 minutes. So 10 minutes is my time limit. So decide on the time limit basis the judgment that you make. So try to solve with time limits. These are the only 2 points of differences. If you see, all the other steps are the same. If you're able to solve the set, make a stepwise flow chart. If you're not able to solve, check the answer key. Perform reverse operation. Still not solved, look at the explanation. Resolve. At this point, I do not want you to make observational notes, because जो भी observation करनी होगी आप mandatory sets में कर चुके होगे. And those are the sets where I want you to make observations. That's the reason that is not written here. If you're still clueless, tag it as a doubt, take help. present your doubt, and solve only those sets which come up with answer keys and solutions or explanations. So please, please, please pick up a good repository, okay? Do not try your hands on anything and everything. So this is the workflow for tackling LRDI 101 sets. I hope you're okay with it. Now, there are some preparation myths associated with LRDI preparation. I want to bust them once and for all, okay? First myth, I will solve 500 LRDI sets and I'll become very good at it. Bullshit. Please understand, the quantity matters, but it is not primary. Quality is primary. Even if you solve 500 LRDI sets, and if you're expecting that 501th set to be easy, it's not going to happen. Okay. So my point is, if you solve n number of sets, the next set might be totally different from the previous sets that you have solved. So do not take it as a rule that solving these many number of sets will make you good at it. Rather than that, go for a holistic process. Cover the templates, learn via sets, go for logic gym, prepare OMET LRDI topics, build the right foundation, go in the right order. That's very, very important. Okay, fine. Next, I'll see just video solutions of LRDI sets and become good at it. I see a lot of classes who promote this. Set nahi bana, turant video dekh lo. That's very stupid. Please understand, I've given you a workflow, right? In that workflow, you will not look out for help in the form of video solutions or text solutions till the time you have reached that point of calling it a doubt. Please don't get into the habit of looking for immediate solutions. That will make you lazy and you'll never be able to do well in this section. So that's a myth which I want you to bust. Okay. I have busted it for you, but I want you to bust it yourself also. Next, LRDI is all about set solving. Solve n number of sets a day and become good at it. Every day I see a lot of things on social media where people are solving 4 sets a day, 3 sets a day, 2 sets a day, whatnot. And they have no clue about anything. They are just trying to solve a set. First, build the right foundation. I've told you what to do before going for experience-based learning or set-based learning. So do not go just for set solving. Apart from set solving, there are so many other things to work on. You will only be good at set solving if you do the other things the right way. As I've told you, right? Reaching a certain level of maturity at a certain point in your preparation is very important. And just going after random wild set solving is not going to help you at all. In fact, that will demotivate you. गलती से सेट थ्योरी पे एक सेट आ गया, उसका प्रोसेस आपको नहीं पता, आप सॉल्व करने बैठ गए, कैसे आप सॉल्व करोगे? You'll always feel demotivated. So LRDI is not all about set solving. Yes, set solving is an important part of it, but not the only part of it. Please understand the difference. I need next myth number 4. I need to finish all topics in quants and then only I can start LRDI. Stupidity. I've told you just need arithmetic to kickstart LRDI preparation. You need not be covering all topics of quant. So do not wait for that moment. That will be too late. Okay. Maybe after arithmetic, you can start with some elementary topics of numbers just to have a grasp on number patterns. APGP, because that might help you in some sets, and some basic ideas of PNC. Not very deep ideas, but some very basic ideas. I think with arithmetic, permutation combination, APGP, and numbers, I think these 4 areas are important to LRDI preparation. But that does not mean that you will not start with LRDI preparation. Okay. Next myth. For CAT preparation, I do not need to go through OMET LRDI topics or themes. I guess I've already busted this myth. OMET LRDI topics or themes is your first, second gear, and you cannot move to third, fourth gear without mastering first, second gear. सीधा third, fourth gear पे गाड़ी चलाओगे, accident होगा, पता भी नहीं चलेगा आपको. Okay. So what I've told you is for CAT LRDI, everything is important because anything can be converted into an LRDI set. If I remember well, in CAT 2016, there was an LRDI set based on coding decoding. So please understand, anything and everything can be converted into an LRDI set. So do not skip on anything. In fact, OMET LRDI topics turn out to be the right start point for your CAT LRDI preparation. I hope these myths are busted very clearly in your head. If you still have any ambiguities in your head, feel free to contact me. I'll try to brainwash you. Okay. So I hope you have understood everything till this point. So just to summarize, First step, you build the foundation. Second step, you cover templates. Along with building foundation and working on templates, parallelly, I want you to work out in Logic Gym, right? Because this Logic Gym will give you the logic bent of mind. And once you're done with templates, then I want you to start with set solving. And under set solving also, I've given you checkpoints. First, you go for M sets. Then you go for chosen ones. And at last, when you take your mocks, you'll go for forced ones. This is the process. Now, with respect to Logic Gym, I'll make a separate video. In this video, I've already told you what to do in Logic Gym and how to distribute those 30 hours. So maybe in a separate video, I'll give you a glimpse of this Logic Gym exercise. So for example, you all know Sudoku, right? You can start solving a Sudoku. What you can see on this slide, this is called a Kakuro. So maybe I'll give you some ideas how to go about solving a Kakuro. This is called a Kalkudoku. On the right hand side, there's a Hitori. So maybe I'll give you some ideas on how to go about these exercises corresponding to Logic Gym. Okay, so I'll make a separate video on it. So this is the process. Now, if you're a student who is very serious about preparing for LRDI in the best possible way, in a well-guided way, I would strongly recommend you to take our LRDI online bundle, which we are specially curated for LRDI section. So I'll just take you through it. You can just go to courses.eqlclasses.com. You'll find this LRDI super bundle. So let's go inside it. So this is a bundle which comprises a lot of courses. I would expect you to go through the course overview because that will tell you what you are getting as a part of this bundle. Now going to the courses within the bundle, once you get that bundle, once you buy that bundle, you get all these courses within it. I'll just give you an overview about all these courses. See the first course, that is the LRDI Infinite course. In this course, you'll find all the CAT LRDI templates. So the template learning will be taken care of in LRDI Infinite. Also, you'll find some sets which are selected by me, which are solved by me as a part of this course. So this is LRDI Infinite. So this is specifically for your CAT preparation. Then you have DI, DS, DC course. So it's a separate course on data interpretation, data sufficiency, data comparison, important both for CAT as well as non-CAT. You'll find different kinds of DI in this course. So this course is mainly for preparing and learning. For practice, we have a different course which is called DI, DS, DC workout. Here you will find around 75 sets of different levels on data interpretation. So here you can practice out data interpretation sets. Also, you can practice out data sufficiency and data comparison. But main focus will be on data interpretation. Okay. So this DI, DS, DC course is for preparation. DI, DS, DC course, workout course is for practice. Okay. Then we have logical reasoning course. This will take care of all the traditional LR topics in the best possible way. The kind of learning you will have from this course, it is at such a nice level that you'll find eye-opening angles to every topic. No matter which category of student you are, you'll love this course. And it's very important for setting the right foundation for CAT LRDI preparation. Then we have this puzzles workout. Here you'll find around 150 sets of puzzles of different categories, well segmented. Okay. Then we have this CAT LRDI compendium. This will have 350 plus LRDI sets of CAT level. So if you want, you can choose your chosen ones from this LRDI compendium. Okay. I've also included arithmetic course as a part of this bundle. As I've told you, arithmetic is very important in my model of preparation for LRDI. So the way I teach arithmetic is important, the way I propagate LRDI learnings. So arithmetic is a part of this bundle. So it's a well-structured bundle. It's a well thought of bundle. If you're very serious about the process in which you should learn LRDI, this is the right course for you. If you have any queries, you can contact us. We will be always ready to help you out. But I hope whatever I have discussed in this session, you will follow it religiously.